And you know what time it is? That's right, everybody. It's Hey Roma time. And I am Hey Roma. And I have Mr. Mancini.
You do?
And we have Mancini's Maniacs and Roma Nation. Let's never forget them. They are the I think they're the gas and that really runs this engine. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you.
And maybe we could probably go, EV on it a little bit so we don't offend anybody. Lord knows we don't want to offend anybody. But I'll tell you what, going to have a great show tonight. Had a phenomenal show last week. Just when I enjoy it and you enjoy it, I know we're putting the car, we're jumping ahead, but I think our fans enjoy it too.
It was fulfilling.
I tell you, I'm serious. I walked out of here, man. I was really happy about what went down and all the questions that we got from everybody. It's good job.
Maybe one day we'll get an Elon Musk salary.
Ooh.
Roma, let's play a guessing game.
Okay.
The shareholders of Tesla approved the CEO Elon Musk's salary today. What is Elon Musk's salary per year?
Well, you'd think I'd be up to speed on what's going on in the world. There's some days that I am, some days that I'm not. And I'm just going to take a rough guess. A year. It is Musk. The guy is brilliant. I got to give him that. I'm going to say like $22 million a year.
22 million.
Probably not even close, am I?
We have Gabe here and Doc. Gabe, what do you think his salary is a year?
$200,000 a year.
That's a work.
Are you kidding me?
That's a work right there. Gabe just gave us the gaga. Doc?
Come on, Doc. Throw a number out there, Doc.
Throw a number out there, Doc.
1,000?
The share,
million?
It's another work on the producer side of Hey Roma.
Wow, man.
These shareholders approved Elon Musk, CEO of Tesla's yearly salary of $449.9 billion.
Okay, well, I just picked myself up off the floor, right?
449
Elon, this is Paul Roma, man. Listen.
$billion.
Listen, I could be one hell of a son. I'm just telling you right now. It won't even. You could just give me the point, and we'll be good.
Well, Roma, you know what though? You know what? What message? Paying somebody that kind of ungodly amount of money. What message did the shareholders send Elon Musk?
Well, I think they sent them the message saying that we need you.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
are of great value to us.
Exactly.
And is he? Because
basically what they said is this company can't be run without you. Here's your money.
We gotta bring him on the show.
Elon Musk.
Yeah, he'll come on the show.
With your persuasion,
We're
Roma,
tight. Elon and I are
I
tight.
think
We're tight.
I think he would.
Yeah, we're boys.
I'd like to get Trump on the show.
We're both white.
What do you got for a headline today?
Well, I wanted to touch on something. You know the Olympics are coming up, right?
I do know the Olympics are coming up.
And last Olympics, we had a little Simone Biles. There was some controversy how she had stepped aside after I believe it may have been her vault, and somebody else stepped in, and there was a lot of bitching going on about why she bailed out, and and people thought it was a lot of gaga. And let me tell you something. I thought so at first too. But I didn't go into it. I don't believe I went into it like some people did, calling her a sociopath and like Charlie Kirk. Now, I like Charlie Kirk. I like listening to him beat down a lot of college students because a lot of our college students are ignorant.
Yeah.
They don't know what's going on. They don't know what, they don't even probably know who the president is, most of them.
The president doesn't know who the president is.
Valid point. But that being said, they should. So Charlie came off and really started knocking Simone Biles. We, him, you, me, safe to say that we've never done gymnastics. I've played every sport but hockey. And I can tell you right now, in my eyes, my physical being, when I was at my peak, I don't even know if I'd want to attempt to do what those girls do. Now, I'm talking about the girls. I'm not talking about the men. I'm talking about the females, okay? And I'm talking about real females, all right? Let's just get that straight. No transgender, real females.
Be careful.
My daughter, at one point, was ranked in the top 100 in the country, even made the top 10. And, discussing things with her, seeing what she goes through, what she puts herself through, injuries and pushes through, and everything that she's done, all her accomplishments so far. She was a little on the downside with Simone, but then, she came full circle, and she explained a lot of things to me. And a lot of it, actually all of it, made sense. And Charlie went way past where he should have gone with this, knocking Simone, calling her a sociopath. Okay?
That's a pretty strong word to use for an athlete.
Well, it's a strong word to use, number one. Number one, he's never done it. So he has an opinion and a right to say what he wants to say, but he had no right coming down on her saying that, the Russians were smiling at the Americans because they won the gold and blah, blah, blah. All right? This isn't suck it up and go do it sport. This is she could have paralyzed herself sport.
Right.
She could have died and broke her neck sport.
Sure.
Okay? He didn't look at all those factors. As my daughter says, when you get that glitch, okay, you don't know what you're doing, how you're doing it, because you lose sight of it. And she could have gotten hurt permanently or even died. So he should really check out what he said about her. I think he really owes her an apology, to be honest with you. All right? And I just found it so wrong for a guy who I believe is, pretty intelligent to come out and condemn somebody. This isn't football. This isn't, I hurt my arm. This isn't, hey, shoot me up and let me get out there again. I can do this with my left arm numb or my right leg numb or my head's numb, whatever the case may be.
Right.
I have a concussion. I can push through it. You can't push through it in this sport. That is not it. Was I mad when she bailed out? Yes, I was mad. I was very upset because, people look to her. She's the leader. She's the best in the world. But this isn't something that you say, I'm going to suck it up because I got a hangnail, right? Or I twisted my ankle like in Olympics from long ago.
Well, Roma, I have to say, I have to consider you, with the age of your daughter now and the years that you've participated in her gymnastics, to be some sort of an expert at gymnastics, because you're so involved with your daughter and the level that she's reached in this country. I would say you have the authority to say what you're saying. It's funny. Juan Soto didn't make the Dodger series with the Yankees because he had an aggravated forearm. It's not like one of those situations.
Right.
You know what I mean?
He's not going to die if he went in and took a swing with the bat.
No.
But she could have.
She could have.
Right? Exactly.
I just don't understand the word sociopath. I mean, you got to understand that the sociopath could, you know, a sociopath can kill someone and eat a steak on their chest after they did it. I mean, they have no conscience. They have nothing. They have no remorse. They have nothing. You know, either this guy doesn't know what the hell he's talking about, or he's desperate for ratings and he's doing something outrageous, you know, because to call a female athlete or any athlete a sociopath, I mean, you can call O.J. Simpson a sociopath.
Without a doubt.
You can call him a sociopath. But I don't know. You can call maybe the guy on the Patriots that killed himself.
Hernandez?
Aaron Hernandez. You call him a sociopath maybe, but geez, because she bowed out. You know,
She was afraid for her safety. I mean, and the team.
This has nothing to do with gymnastics. This is Russia against the United States, and he's putting politics in it, and he's just looking at it as Russia against the United States.
And I saw I understand the suck it up part, right? But not in gymnastics.
Yeah, no.
This is a thing. Look, here's a girl, an athlete, who now if you do something that no one else can do, you get to name it after yourself or whatever you want to call it. She's named four things that she's done that no one else has done. She's the first to do, and she named them after herself. Like nobody else is like that.
Like drop kicking John Studd in the forehead.
Yes, yes, exactly right. Great point.
Paul Roma did that.
Now I didn't get to name it, but
No.
at the same time, no one else has ever been able to do it.
No,
to jump that high.
It was 6 feet. No, you were 7 feet in the air.
Right. So the whole point is, you know, he should know what the hell he's talking about. He should have at least tried the sport. I like to see him get in on a 4-inch beam and do a backflip and land it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Exactly right.
That's crazy.
So,
That's-
you know, or you know, and again, I'm not an expert. I'm the furthest thing from an expert. I've been watching her for 10 years now. I've been watching her
It's
compete.
a long time.
Long time.
And then you're not only watching her, you're involved.
I am, but I'm still ignorant to everything, how they score for the most part. I've gotten better at that. You know, I like when she scored a perfect 10 on vault in one of her regionals or you know, or state, I think it was. Everybody knew right away. A lot of people knew right away. Her coaches definitely knew right away. But, you know, did I? No. But I thought it was great. You know what I mean? And again, it's your kid, so you think everything they do is great. But for this guy to come out and just belittle her the way that he did, I think it's wrong. Unless you're great at what, if you could do the same thing she's doing, then you have every right in the world to say what you want to say.
I think there's an apology coming for sure. I think he's going to get a lot of heat for it, and I think there's an apology.
Well, I
coming
just
in the
gave him a little
future.
bit of heat because I think he deserves that.
I really do think there's an apology coming in the future. You know what? I kind of feel bad about this TikTok boot I got for calling Adrian Adonis an asshole.
Wow.
They said I was harassing and bullying a dead guy. But I was kind of hoping that my contingent on there followed us on here to Hey Roma, because they certainly had a lot of questions. So sorry about that, guys. I got a 24-hour suspension for calling Adrian Adonis an asshole. So, which in my opinion, and that's my new thing for 2024, because everybody's so sensitive and they talk about bullying. They bully you until you agree with them, and that's where the fights start out. But my saying is, you know, I don't agree with you, but I respect your opinion, especially when it comes to this Trump Biden stuff. It gets kind of ugly.
It
but
sure does.
Trump met with the House and Senate, and all the Republicans, and it seems like everybody's on the same page. It's incredible what's going on with him. He's stronger than ever.
Well, I mean, when you consider, you know, who he's running up against, the guy's been throwing up smoke screens, telling everybody, you know, this is what I'm doing. It's not really what he's doing.
You know, the thing about it is I'm very curious for June 27th because that's the first debate, and I don't know how Joe Biden's going to stand up there and be lucid. I think the entire world is going to see exactly where he is. I predict. This is what I predict. Believe it or not, I've been thinking about this. I predict Trump looking at the people conducting this debate, the moderators, looking at them going, do you seriously think this should continue? I see Trump looking at the moderators going, I don't think this should continue. You know, they're talking about backing Biden out, and the rumors have it that she'll beat him hands down, Trump hands down, to bring in Michelle Obama.
Wow.
Now, everybody gets very angry with me. They look at me very crooked. They don't understand. They are puzzled when I say, I love Michelle Obama.
Listen, I just, something told me you were swinging in that direction, kid.
I think she's so hot.
Yeah. Well, you're into guys anyway, but
I
let's not go
really
there.
do. You know what it is, Roma? You know what it is? I don't know what it is, but
I don't know what it
and
is.
thank
It's
God
starting to scare me.
thank God my ex-wife doesn't listen to this podcast. But I don't think she'd think it was a bad it's a bad thing. My first wife.
You're not going to go through all your wives because we only have an hour.
Roma knew all my wives. So my first wife had a head of teeth. My second wife had a head of teeth. And my third wife, I don't know what it is with the teeth. But I see a woman with an overbite or like these big teeth, and I don't know, man. It drives me crazy.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. That and a cockeyed woman, that really does it for me bad, man.
I'm going to go get you a donkey. With
You got
buck
that
teeth.
left eye go straight, and that right eye is going all the way over to the right. I start grinding my teeth. Roma. I'm like, oh, my.
I'm starting to worry about
Well,
it.
I don't know. Listen, a week from today, today's Flag Day. Salute the American flag.
Amen.
But a week after Flag Day, my whole life is June 21st, which is next Friday, when I turn magically 58 years old. I met Roma when I was 18.
Imagine that.
He was 25. So my tastes really haven't changed.
Thought I met you when I was 22.
When I was with Tony
I think it's a
Atlas,
little confused people.
when I was with Tony Atlas up in Rhode Island one time, he looked at me at a clear blue sky and he said, "Mancini, don't you have any fetishes?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, cockeyed women." And he just
And buck teeth.
He just fell off the chair, man. He thought I was working him. He wouldn't believe me, but. Man, that right eye starts going all the way over to the right. I don't know what it is, man.
I'm just going to make sure my eyes stay straight.
I have been in therapy
Yeah,
several
what the hell that
times.
did.
Several times. I am, but, you know, when it comes down to it, I am the last of the suckers. I am, you know, whether it's a low self-esteem or whatever. But I don't know, man. You got to keep those women away from me because I'll empty the bank on them.
I'll tell you what. You know, I'm getting a little worried. I mean, legit. I'm getting a little worried.
Well, listen. Do we have any questions by any cockeyed women on there? No.
No, but there's a buck-tooth jackass that kind of hoofed
Oh,
it.
you got a sausage
you a
party on
question.
there. Would anybody from TikTok?
Anybody that is with Mancini's Maniacs want to jump over to Roma Nation, feel free. I understand. It'll all be good because you'll still be seeing what we have.
Hey, well, how do you know there's not Mancini's Maniacs out there going, "I'm with you, brother," and he's hugging his wife right there, and that right eye's going all the way to the kitchen, and they're in the
you're
living
right.
room.
You're probably right.
Well, yeah, I'm with you, brother.
Got
And
an
he's looking
overbite.
at her going, see, honey, I'm not the only one.
Yeah. Yeah, and that one with the overbite, right?
Well, they all had a Michelle Obama, man. Oh, God.
Okay. Wow, well, that took
She
a turn again.
drives me crazy, man. Michelle Obama. I'm sorry, Barack. I don't mean to be. I don't mean to be disrespectful. You got an attractive wife. What can I tell you?
Damn. Okay, people. Feel free to comment on that.
Well, we usually don't go into questions this early, but if you have them, I don't want to keep them hanging.
Whew. Here we go.
How much money would you pay to put Barack Obama in the cup chair for a night with Michelle Obama?
How much money would you pay to put Obama in the what?
Cup chair, so he has to watch.
So that he could watch you with you and Michelle? That's a sick question, man.
I don't think I can be aroused. I don't think I can make it happen because I'm in the bed with Michelle and Barack's going, please be very gentle
With my husband. I mean, wife.
with my wife.
Right.
I could tell you from first experience, no, don't go there. You won't like that. Once I hear that voice bellowing in the room, you'd have to put tape over his mouth.
Yeah.
Because once I hear that voice bellowing, I'd be like, Barack, man, you're just killing it, man. You're just being a blocker right now.
He's built that fence.
Yeah, man. It'd be rough. What's the next question?
Hey, Roma, you play the drums? I think you make a good drummer.
Can I play the drums? Well, funny you should ask that because I actually purchased a drum set when I was young. I was about 11, 12 years old. I had a little paper route, made some money, and I purchased them. And my father was so pissed because I spent money, which was, as he considered, foolish. So I did. I messed around with them a little bit, but yeah, I was never really that good. I'm a hell of an air drummer, but other than that, that's about it.
Has there ever been any discussion, or would you ever want a jobber wing at the WWE Hall of Fame to give recognition like that to guys like Mancini, but their bodies on the line?
So has there ever been
A discussion?
a discussion
Well,
have a jobber ring?
Well, Roma's going to like this because, Roma's going to be like, that's right, kid, lay it on the line, tell it like it is. Just like the guardian of chaos, Big Daddy. Because Big Daddy tells it like it is. So I pondered this. If the WWE would ever open up a jobber wing for the Hall of Fame, and I definitely would be inducted into that Hall of Fame. And I decided to myself, no,
No, you wouldn't go.
they never will.
If they did, would you go?
If they did, they would never induct me because I stood up for Rita Chatterton. And I went against Vince. And she was very successful against him in that lawsuit because I was there to corroborate her story that she told me in 1986. And let me say legally again, the question to me, the question was, did Vince rape Rita Chatterton in 1986? That wasn't the question to me. Let's make that clear. I don't know if he did. The question posed to me was, did Rita Chatterton communicate with you in 1986 that Vince raped?
Bless you.
That Vince raped her, and the answer is yes. She did communicate that to me, and the New York Magazine got a hold of me first, and then, the 9 Lives of Vince McMahon got a clip of me saying that, and then, all these other social media outlets and TV networks got a hold of me. So I basically, what I always compare it to is a bridge that says WWE on it, and I just stood underneath it with a flamethrower, and I just burnt it down to the ground. So if I didn't do that, if they did open up a wing, I think I would be inducted. But I don't think they're ever going to do it. There's so many wrestlers like Demolition that should be in the Hall of Fame, like Paul Roma. I think anybody who participated in WrestleMania should. You know what it's like, people? Let me tell you what it's like. They were talking about this the other day, okay? They were talking about this the other day. So, if John Carlos Stanton is one of the oldest players in the league, and he's close to 500 home runs.
Right.
So they're saying is any baseball player that has 500 home runs has an automatic door to the Hall of Fame, no matter what. They got an automatic door.
Which it should be.
As long as there's no steroids involved, like McGuire and Sosa and guys like that. So Stanton has an automatic door to the Hall of Fame because he had 500 home runs. I think the same philosophy should be in the WWE. I think anyone, right down to Danny Davis, right down to SD Jones, who was in WrestleMania, anybody who went through that curtain for WrestleMania should be in the Hall of Fame. You want to think about something. How many Major League Baseball players are there in Major League Baseball? 750? There's 8 billion people in the world. Okay, so that's like a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of people that play Major League Baseball. So if you go to all 40 WrestleManias and you do all the cards, how many people do you think you're going to come up with out of 8 billion people in the world that were in WrestleMania? How many people? So if they have 10 matches and what 10 matches, 20 guys, 2 tag team matches, 25 guys, let's just say 25 guys to 40 WrestleManias. How many? I didn't go to law school for math. How much is that? 25 times 40.
I don't know, 8 something, right? 8,000. What is it?
25 times 40 is 1,000.
All right, so you got 1,000 times. You got 1,000 people in WrestleMania out of 8 billion people.
Right.
And don't forget this, Roma. There's repeats, so it's not 1,000 people.
Right.
So it's Hogan all the time. It's Bret Hart all the time. It's Tito all the time. It's Valentine all the time. So you might as well cut that in half.
Well, for the most part, at least take a quarter of them off.
Take a quarter. So 750 people in WrestleMania in 40 years. That should be an automatic door to the WWE Hall of Fame because you were in WrestleMania.
Well, the only thing I'll disagree with you on is the fact that, I think you're the Pete Rose of wrestling. So you don't believe you're going to go in for the wrong reason when you should be in for all the right reasons.
Well, listen, we know the wrestling business, and who knows? Vince McMahon's not involved in it anymore, and, Jerry McDivitt retired, Vince's lawyer. So I don't know. I don't know. I would,
Yeah, but think about this. They take Pete Rose now and throw him in the Hall of Fame, which I believe he deserves to be in.
I do too.
Okay.
I do too, by the way.
So they throw him in, and good, bad, or indifferent, you're going to have people talking about him, right?
Yeah.
Why he should be, why he shouldn't be. That
Right.
People agree and disagree. And the same thing is with you. I mean, people are going to look and go, well, why is he in the Hall of Fame? Well, he's in because of this, for this reason. Yeah, but he talked bad about Vince McMahon. So what? You're still getting that, the notoriety, and I think that's the way that it should be.
They when it comes to stuff like this, the reason why I think Pete Rose should be in is because they should look at what he did on the field. He was amazing. Charlie Hustle. And you know what? When we went into the ring, we didn't take anything back to the dressing room with us. We left everything in the middle of that ring. So no matter what, I mean, like I say, I go on these TikTok lives, and I'm flattered because, people come on and go, "Wow, I used to watch you. God, I remember you." Some people go on, "God, I can't
Thank
believe."
you for your contribution.
Yeah, I can't believe I'm on TikTok live with Taker's first opponent and stuff like that, and
Bundy.
yeah, Bundy, the Hart Foundation, Demolition. I mean, it's like, So I don't know, but there's a lot of people. When you talk about the Hall of Fame on the jobber wing, I mean, there's you're talking about Barry Horowitz. You're talking about Jose Luis Rivera, Charlie Fulton, Jose Estrada, Frank Williams. Johnny Rods is already in there. He's the only jobber in there. The only jobber in there is Johnny Rods.
Well, again, it's how you were, I think, with the WWF, WWE now. Stature. Did you say all the right things? Did you kiss all their asses? I know, didn't. I didn't. And so maybe we won't see the Hall of Fame. But at the end of the day, they can't take away our contribution. And people remember us. And we know they remember us because when they walk up to us at an autograph show or, just in a store.
Right.
It's always, hey, I watched you, you're great, or I watched you and I really enjoyed you, or whatever the case may be.
Let me tell you what. So you know where the Shell station is near your house?
Yep.
So I had my tire plugged at Firestone, and he says to me, now ride around in it. It's going to say it's low, but as you ride around in it, the PSI is going to rise. And I said, okay. And it never did. It stayed at 29. So I go to the Shell station, and I'm putting air in my tire to get it up to 36 PSI. And this guy comes walking over to my car as I stand up to go check the PSI, and he walks over to me, and I look at him like, yeah, and he goes, Mario Mancini? I go, yeah. He goes, no shit. I go, yeah. He goes, nice to meet you. I go, yeah, you too. He goes, have a great day. I go, you too. So, yeah, well, we sure did answer that question, Gabe. What else you got?
Here comes another one, people.
What did Roma think of the young Owen Hart in the WWF 88-89 era?
What did I think of the young Owen Hart in the 88-89 era? That's a tough question. I was friends with Owen. I still am. And I think Owen was a really good worker. I think he got ahead of everybody else because he was part of the Hart family. So, but at the end of the day, I thought he was a great worker. I don't know. What about you, Mario?
If you ask Brett will tell you that Owen was better than him.
Well, maybe he did a little more theatrical than Brett did. Like he was more off of his feet as far as
He was more of a jokester too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Probably one of the biggest jokesters I've ever ran into.
Yeah, Owen was all about that. So he was a nice kid.
Yep.
And wouldn't hurt a fly. Great personality.
Yep.
Always
there to help.
Yeah. It was a shame what happened to him.
Yeah. What else you got there, Gabe? Throw another one at us, and then we're going to hit something else.
Do you see gymnasts as the world's strongest athletes pound for pound?
So are gymnasts the world's strongest athletes pound for pound? I would have to say yes, and I'm only going to say this for my own personal reason. So my daughter's 5 feet tall. Maybe she's a little over 5 feet, barely. And she throws me around. And I'm being very serious when I say that. She pushes me around until I get serious. Not upset. I say upset in a joking way where I'll bow up against her and I'll be like, come on, and then she knows it's on. She knows that now it just got real. But for somebody that can grab my finger and me not be able to pull my finger out of her hand, and I've had her do this to other men. I say, hey, just do what you do to me. You go and do it to him. And I go on, try to pull your finger out, and they can't. She has a grip of steel. And I think about when she's on the bars and all the other things that she does. Like when she goes to school and she goes to gym. Now, technically, we can get a note excusing her from gym because she does gymnastics. But she does more chin-ups than the boys in her class. And she laughs because, you know, she puts them to shame. But she's just that strong. I attribute it to a lot of things. One is, you know, the genetics that she has, which is a blessing. What I did with her from 6 years old in playgrounds and, you know, made her, you know, go hand for hand across the bars and just different things like that. You know, taking her up to the track and have her run sprints so that she could know how to come out of the blocks and, you know, built her speed when she's going to run down to do vault. But yeah, people don't really get how strong these females are. If they don't have one in their family, then they just see what they're doing out there on the floor. They don't really get it. You know, what these kids are capable of doing, how strong they really are. And they are. If you look at their bodies, I mean, they're just dieseled. They are, you know, ripped, shredded. You know, abs are showing, shoulders like bowling balls. You know, their backs are in that big V that, you know, they can't even buy normal clothes. You know, they're usually wearing stuff that are overlarge on them so that they're comfortable. I mean, I'm constantly getting her stuff, you know, sweatshirts. She wants, you know, these large sweatshirts. So they're loose on her. And in one little instant, and I got to be very careful with this, we had taken her somewhere, and she had a top on, a jacket. And I had turned to my wife at the time and I said, watch this. Wait until she takes her stuff off and she just has her leotard on. Wait until they gather a look at that body. And no sooner I said that, she took it off and I saw eyes open and jaws drop. Because she's a freak in a nice way. You know? And I know she's listening to this. You got to stop pushing your father around. Anyway. So yeah, I think they're probably the fittest, strongest, best athletes that money can buy. So I'm going to take one more question. Then I just want to do a shout out. We have a lot of questions, and we'll start knocking
fantastic.
them out. Yeah.
Hey Roma, now that you're all grown up and don't live in your folks' old house anymore, you can take up the drums. Would you ever take up the drums?
No, now that I don't live in my folks' house anymore, I have a place of my own. Would I ever take up the drums? No. You know what I take up? And I almost did this. I came real close, and I wish I had, and I didn't. I would buy a pinball machine and play pinball. I'm a pinball fanatic. I love pinball. I will challenge anybody. Matter of fact, I'm going to bring this guy up right now. Brian Costello will lie and say that he beat me in pinball in Florida, and you never did, Brian, okay? I know you're going to call me after the show. You're going to tell me that I'm telling tales, but you never beat me. So that's that. And this is my show, my word, so there.
Wow. Poor Brian.
You know Brian
I know Brian.
really well. Another guy that should be in the Hall of Fame.
In the Hall of Fame, absolutely.
Without a doubt, Brian
Costello
Costello.
did a hell of a lot more than I did.
Before we take any more questions, it is Flag Day.
Yeah.
I want to shout out to all of our military. Without them, we wouldn't have a Flag Day. We wouldn't have a flag. I mean, if we had a flag, it sure the hell wouldn't be the Stars and Stripes. It'd be somebody else, some other country. And without getting into it, if this keeps up with this, how do I even? I'm trying to be nice here. I'm trying to be nice. Okay. with who we have as our president, we may have a Russian flag, we may have a Chinese flag flying overhead. If we don't get somebody back in power, back in command, a real commander-in-chief, we're going to be in a world of hurt before November.
Well, you know, ICE caught 8 members of ISIS at the border, terrorists, this past week, thank God. However,
How many got through, though?
how many got through? 30,000 Chinese have crossed the border, mostly males between 18 and 25.
Yeah, let me ask you this. Are they swimming to get across? How are they getting over here?
through
man?
Mexico.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
Maybe taking a flight. Nice flight, huh?
Yeah. So
First class.
You know, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Got it.
Well, again, I want to say thank you to everybody,
Yeah.
all our military. You're all our heroes. You're the real heroes in our America, the real heroes. Without you, we would not have America. We would not have what we have. Our Constitution would be shit. We wouldn't have one. That jack off of a president that doesn't know where he is unless they tell him where he is, where to walk to unless they show him where to walk to. Okay? If it wasn't for a few, and I want to say Democrats and Republicans, we'd have been down the river already.
Well, that's
Between
why-
him and his son, forget about it.
That's why I'm saying I don't even know how he's going to do this debate on the 27th. We're really going to see a lot. And you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if it was called off for some bizarre reason.
Right. He
He's got
doesn't
a
feel
sore
good, right,
throat.
yeah.
He doesn't feel good. Or what.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really don't know.
Yeah, he's got hemorrhoids.
How's he going to get through 90 minutes?
Well, aside from adrenaline, I don't know how long that lasts. I just actually saw a clip today, and he was dumbfounded. I mean, he walks like a robot. He's constantly squinting, trying to figure out where the hell he is, what he's doing, what he's going to say. So many gaffes come out of his mouth. And obviously the media is not going to show that. Some media stations do, like a Fox or something like that. But for the most part, nobody. They want to keep it quiet. The people behind the scenes running the show, he's the puppet. So what do they do? What are they going to do to get this puppet to say the right thing? That's going to be the big question if and when he does debate. If he debates. That's going to be the thing.
What you got, Gabe?
Take some more questions, yeah?
Hey, Roma, what inspired you to grow out your hair in WCW?
Wow. What inspired me to grow out my hair in WCW? It was a sign of the times. I mean, it's like anything. It's a fad. I mean, look at a lot of people who put extensions in their hair. Everybody went through that fad, right? And you still see a lot of girls today. They have extensions in their hair. It's like clothing fads. It's a sign of the times. You go through it. Do I catch hell for it now? Oh yeah. I mean, just my daughter alone. Look at your hair. She doesn't get it. She's so young. She doesn't get it. But again, a sign of the times.
Hey, Roma, I saw you get those near wins on Macho King. Kurt Hennig.
Near wins. When I got near wins on Macho King, Macho Man. All right, it'd probably be Macho Man, but that's all right.
Kurt Hennig and
Kurt Hennig.
TV matches. I almost jumped out of my seat, and I knew that you were ready for the next level. Did you know that you were ready for the next level?
So the question really is, do I know when I was ready for the next level? Yeah, I think I knew when I was ready for the next level. But again, you're in a business that it doesn't matter how great, not good, how great you are. What matters is, and I'm going to get a little disturbing here, okay? What matters is whose ass you're kissing, who's you're sucking, who you're sucking you or screwing you. That's what gets you the push. Now, that's not everybody, but that's a lot of people. And when they realize that you're going to be that difficult person, you're not going to play their game, then they kind of keep you just floating in that same spot. You don't get to make those advances like you think you should get. Doesn't matter what every other wrestler's saying to you. Doesn't matter how great you are, how many fans come up to you. It doesn't matter. What matters to them is, are you willing to play their game? You know? And in saying that, I want to go off a little bit here. It's not so much that it's just wrestlers. You know, as you've seen, it's people right in the WWE office. You know, they pressure them. You know, you have that big thing going on with the young lady that Vince had his way with for the most part, that he basically trafficked out. I feel for her. Tremendous pressure. Wasn't right what he did. People are going to come down on her, and what they should do is sit back, keep their mouths shut, unless they've been in that person's shoes. I would love to talk to her and tell her, listen, you know, we completely understand. And, you know, you need to get out in the world and face people, because it's not going to be what you think it's going to be. You know, people are not going to run up to you and give you a hard time, or vice versa. They're just not going to run up to you and cause any issues or want to speak to you about anything. You got to get past that. You weren't a celebrity on TV where, you know, like Mario just said, you know, he's checking his tires and somebody spots him. He was on TV every day, you know, 6-7 days a week for how many years? So, you know, love to have that conversation with her and say, step out. You know, there's people here that feel for you, people here that understand you, people here that understand what you're going through, maybe not as in depth as, you know, maybe you've let it, you know, hurt you, but we get it. And to be around people that get it can make you better, can make you mentally better, make you feel mentally better about, you know, what happened in yourself. And I think that's important. You know, to hide away somewhere, you're always going to think somebody's going to spot you. But again, you weren't on TV. If you walked up to somebody tomorrow, they wouldn't know who you are, because they can't put the face with the name, you know. And I think that's something that I know we'd love to say to her, and you know, say, listen, just we'll stand by your side. Let's go into one of the biggest stores there is with the most people, and let's see what happens. And let's prove it to you that, you know, you're going to be able to walk through that store and no one's going to point their finger at you. And I think that's something that's going on in her mind, and thinking that people are going to point the finger and say, oh, no, that's not the way it's going to be. So, again, feel sorry for her. But I think to get around people that, like us, that are strong, you agree, Mancini? That's one way of overcoming your fears, right? Overcoming your fears. So maybe that will happen someday. Maybe it won't. I don't know. But, again, we understand. We get it. And we'd love to be that, I don't want to say crutch, but that force that stands beside you. And we walk down, you know, Main Street during the Thanksgiving Day parade, and people are looking, going, hey, who the hell are they? Get the hell out of the line. We don't know who they are. You know what I mean?
Mario,
Yes.
you had to pick one woman that's not Michelle Obama that is alive right now.
Well, I got to ask this question.
Who would it be?
If you had to pick one woman that's not Michelle Obama,
It is alive.
and what?
It's alive.
It's alive.
Yeah, it has to be alive.
Oh, it has to be alive. Wow, they were really tough on that one. Who would it be? You can't say me. Wow.
Gee, that's a hard
I
question.
say you stumped him on this one.
Woo.
Who asked that question?
Well, listen, if it was 1982, I'd say Adrienne Barbeau, but it's not 1982.
Adrienne Barbeau.
Adrienne's 77. If it was 1983, I'd say Nina Hartley, but it's not, and Nina Hartley's over 70 now too, or close 66 or 67.
I think you know a little too much about them.
Marilyn Chambers is dead.
Wow.
One woman, huh?
One. Wow. I'll tell you, that's a great question. To stump you, that's a great question. Man, your head's swelling up as it is right now.
I gotta tell you, man, I don't. Kamala Harris, don't go on Kamala. You know I love Kamala. You know I love Kamala, man.
Our producer's helping you out.
I love
Throwing one out
Kamala.
there at you.
She's got such a cute smile. She's just like.
Oh, that's right, because her teeth come flying out.
No,
of her
not
mouth,
Kamala
right?
doesn't have those big teeth. She's got a pretty smile, but she's clueless like Joe.
That's probably the one you want.
Wait a minute here. It's got to be. You know what? I don't.
We're gonna have to get back to him on that one, huh?
Yeah, you're gonna have to get back to me on that.
Wow. All right, what else we got there, Gabe?
Mr. Roma, where did you get your competitiveness from?
Where did I get my competitiveness from? I got my competitiveness from my dad. He always had to do things in a great way, the right way, and that was my big spin-off. You know, I wanted to be like my dad. He was really good at everything he did. He was a hell of a lot smarter than me. I couldn't hold a candle to him, and I think for the most part I've done a great job as far as the respect value is concerned, because that's how we were brought up, and not just because we're an Italian family, just because that's how we were raised. And when you looked at all my aunts, uncles, cousins, that's what it was. Everybody in our families were brought up with respect. Everyone looked out for each other, which was a rarity. So, yeah.
We have suggestions for Mario now.
Mario, we're going to get some suggestions for you now. We got some people.
Vanessa Del Rio.
Vanessa Del Rio.
Yeah, Vanessa Del Rio's, she's up there too.
Wow. Who else?
Kamala Harris, but there's a clause. She can't speak.
Kamala Harris, but she can't speak.
Just smile. I'll take that.
Okay. Some couple good suggestions right
Yeah.
there.
The Guardian of Chaos.
The Guardian of Chaos.
That's a guy.
Wow.
Charlize Theron. Charlize Theron.
Charlize Theron.
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna leave on that one.
We're gonna leave on that one.
All right.
So what do you got next?
Wow. Got a lot of questions coming, Has.
Favorite match that you guys have had together?
Favorite match that we had together
It was the New Haven Coliseum.
all day. That was a hands down. New Haven Coliseum was, I'm going to tell the story. Okay, I think you've told it. Let me tell you from my...
I've only told it a couple of million times.
Right. So I'm going to tell it once or twice compared to your couple million. We went to New Haven Coliseum, brought our gear. We weren't booked to wrestle. Chief was there. I asked Mancini, where you going? He says, I'm going out to eat. I said, where you going? He goes, I'm going Chinese. Of course, Chinese food. So he left, and I was asked where he was by the chief. And I said, why? He said, because the guys are late. Their flight's late. We need you guys to go out there and wrestle and stall. Save some time. So I was like, okay. So where's Mr. Mancini? I said, well, he went to get something to eat, Chief. And no sooner I said that, I'm pacing around, and here he comes walking through the door, big smile on his face, belly all full of Chinese food. And I knew when he went to eat Chinese food, he'd have that damn menu. So here he comes. And I said, hey, good thing you're here. You got to get dressed. He goes, we're not working. I said, yeah, we are. I told him what happened. Everybody's going to be late, and we got to get out there. And he basically said how full he was. So, that being said,
I got the option.
I thought it was a great time to rib Mr. Mancini. So when we got in the ring, I had him run. And I had him run. And I had him run around that ring, meaning across the ring. And when he got me into the corner, I told him to pull me out and give me a turnbuckle. And he pulled on my arm, and I hooked that rope so he couldn't pull me out. And he tried again, and I hooked it again. And then I can feel all the gas leave his tank. And he begged me to please come out of that corner. So I did. But at the end of the story, Mr. Mancini decided that it was time to relieve himself of his dinner. And he left the ring, went underneath the ring with his head, and dinner came out.
I said, powder, powder. He threw me through the middle. I went onto the floor, picked up the ring apron, and I puked underneath the ring. Went back in, had a hell of a match because I was a heel, you know.
And his belly wasn't full anymore.
No.
So, yeah, that was that.
Tanya Roberts.
Tanya Roberts.
I wasn't a Tanya Roberts guy. If you want to go back there, I was an Adrian Barbeau guy.
I thought Adrian Barbeau was a
I actually met her. That was a thrill, man. I was shaking. I met her
She was probably shaking, too.
at the Connecticut Horse. No, very interesting. So, of course, a friend of mine was with me and
I remember you met her.
and had to let it out of the bag who I was. And she had looked at me and she goes, "Oh my God, that's how I started in show business." I go, "What do you mean?" She goes, "I was a ring girl for Gorgeous George."
Wow.
She
I
goes,
didn't know that.
"I almost got hit with a chair." She goes, "I was a ring girl for Gorgeous George." So it was in a hockey rink, this Connecticut Horror Fest, and she was freezing. So I left the venue, and there was a Dollar General close. So I went and got a fleece, and I went back in and went around the line to the side, and she looked over, and I said, "This is to keep you warm." She goes, "Oh my God, you got that for me?" I go, "Absolutely." She goes, "Oh my God, you're such a sweetheart. Thank you so much." She wore that thing all day. She had it on her lap all day.
Nice.
So that was pretty memorable. But I was a Catherine Bach guy. I was a Adrian Barbeau guy. Suzanne Summers guy. Geez, I forgot her name. God, I can't believe I can't remember her name. Jacqueline.
Not from the Angels.
No.
Jacqueline Bissett?
No. She played Chevy Chase's wife in The Funny Farm.
Wow. You think our producer will look that up on it, and tell you who it is, but
she played
he's just sitting
Chevy
there with
Chase's
his thumbs.
wife on The Funny. I was in love with her, man. Oh my God.
Trying to remember. I remember the movie The Funny Farm, but I can't remember who she is.
I liked Joan Prather. I was nuts about Joan Prather. That was David's wife in Eight Is Enough.
Wow.
Yeah. So I liked her. Madeline Smith. Yeah, Madeline
Wow.
Smith. Yep. So I liked her.
Good producer. He does something right.
Go with the questions. The Guardian and Chaos is all done.
We got into an argument with Steve Vendetta.
Wow.
He called him a clown.
Wow. Steve Vendetta's a clown.
Who's Steve Vendetta?
Don't know. It's a fan. Guardian of Chaos must not have liked what he said.
You know, I don't like when that happens because, he's got as many years in this business as we do. Let me tell you something about the Guardian of Chaos and what he didn't tell me. And I'm still angry that he didn't tell me. He walked into Passarella's Quest in 1984, and he wanted to be a pro wrestler. And I put him through what we don't put our students through today, which is holy hell. Absolute holy hell. 15 Beals, 10 body slams, 15 hip tosses, crisscrossing, having them bump during the crisscross and hit it until, he just couldn't get up anymore, and he didn't come back, and I didn't know at such a young age he had his back broken. Certainly, if he came in here and said, "Listen, I'd like to work around this. I'd like to be a pro wrestler, but I'm just recovering from a broken back," I probably would have worked another angle with him,
Right.
And wouldn't put him through that hazing stuff that we were taught to do,
Right.
you know?
I mean, like when Seth kept slamming me by the side of the ring.
Yeah.
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 And I hyperextended my elbow.
Yeah.
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 I don't forget things like that.
Yeah, that hazing
Yeah.
stuff.
I
So-
see Seth, I'm going to pick him up and slam the shit out of him. How's that?
The same thing with Big Steve. If it's hard for him to come down to the wrestling school and watch, because he looks at me and goes, "Why aren't you torturing these people? You tortured me." And we just can't teach like that these days. But Big Daddy went through the torturing, and you know what though? Through his intestinal fortitude and his ambition and his tenacity, he ended up bumping a lot in his career. But he ended up becoming one of the most popular independent managers on the independent circuit. Where it's, listen, when you're a wrestling manager in an area, you're restricted to maybe that area. Like if you're a wrestling manager here, you might be restricted from Massachusetts to New York. They were flying Big Daddy all over the country to manage. And he managed Bundy, and he managed all these guys that we worked with. He managed all these guys.
Right.
He was with Bruno and all these people. You know what I mean? So he's definitely, I get upset when that happens, because he's to be respected. All because he wasn't on TV, every week doesn't mean that he didn't make his mark in this business. He certainly has. And let me tell you something. Anybody that goes on his social media and they scroll through his social media, they'll see every picture with him, with Bret Hart, with Triple H, with all these guys. He was with all these guys, all of them. So if it just really doesn't make me happy, because his face wasn't on the TV. They figure, who's this guy? The Guardian of Chaos, Big Daddy. Well, you know what? I know who he is, and the people that are in the wrestling business know, and certainly Joe Bruin, when it came to inducting people into the New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, Big Daddy was a no-brainer for the contributions he gave to the business and his body that he gave to the business, because he bumped more than Lou Albano.
Yeah.
I mean, that was his gimmick. He would cheap shot, and then at the end, and I mean every match, at the end, the babyface got a hold of him and had his way with him. That was the angle. So, I'm sorry that happened to you, Big Daddy. I don't like that, brother. So that's it. We're wrapped. We are wrapped. We'll be on next week. This was a test pilot, if you will. We're usually live on video as well as audio.
Right.
We ran on Spotify this week. So our producer said, if we're going to run on Spotify, we have to do audio only. And we did that. And we'll see how that worked out. But we'll see you next week. Like to say they'll see us on Thursday, but
we're gonna have to get that definitive day down.
We're gonna have to get the definitive day and time. Certainly, we have to get it down, because the consistency. It's like I told Roma today. I go, Tuesday nights at 8:00, you sat down and watched Seinfeld. You didn't put on NBC, and it wasn't there. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but we're working out the bugs, people, and happy Flag Day. And if you're in the East Coast, be careful. In New England, be careful of the rain. We're going to get it like 1.25 inches. And we'll see you next week.
Now he's a weatherman now.
Yeah, I'm a weatherman.
Yeah. Well, listen, I always end with, I want to thank Mancini's Maniacs, Roma Nation, and our highest praise goes to our military. We thank you for all you've done. You're the real heroes in this world. We love you. Take care.